The room was so quiet that even the ticking clock sounded like a judge counting down a verdict, and in that silence a billionaire lay motionless in his leather chair, eyes closed, breath slow, pretending to sleep while the weight of his entire life rested on what would happen next. Behind him, a steel safe stood open with neat stacks of money inside, cold and tempting, while across the room a small boy with dirt-smudged cheeks and oversized yellow gloves froze in place, unaware that this single moment would decide far more than anyone imagined. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet power of doing the right thing when no one is watching, take a moment right now to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them most. The billionaire was known as a man who trusted numbers more than people. His fortune had been built on sharp instincts and hard lessons, and betrayal had taught him to test everyone who came close to his world. When his longtime janitor fell ill, the man allowed the janitor's young son to help after school, wiping floors and emptying bins in offices larger than the boy's entire home. The billionaire watched from a distance, noting the child's torn shirt, the careful way he cleaned corners, and the way he never lingered near desks that glittered with expensive objects. Yet doubt lingered, because wealth has a way of making even the most generous suspicious, and so the billionaire decided on one final, silent test. That afternoon, he staged the scene with precision. He left the safe open, the chair angled just right, and settled into it as if exhaustion had finally claimed him. His breathing slowed, his face relaxed, and he became a statue of power at rest. The boy entered to clean, pushing his small cart across the polished floor, and the sight of the open safe stopped him mid-step. Money, more than he had ever seen, sat within arm's reach. For a child who had known hunger and patched shoes, the moment carried a dangerous weight, like standing at the edge of a cliff with the wind urging him forward. The boy's hands trembled inside the gloves as he looked from the safe to the sleeping man. His life had been shaped by watching his father scrub floors long after his back ached, hearing whispered prayers at night that tomorrow would be easier. He thought of overdue rent, of medicine his father needed, of the way his classmates laughed at his worn clothes. The room seemed to lean toward him, offering a solution wrapped in silence. No alarms rang. No eyes watched, or so it seemed. Time stretched painfully as the boy stepped closer, each footfall careful, as if the floor itself might accuse him. He reached the safe, not with greed blazing in his eyes, but with confusion and fear wrestling inside his chest. His fingers hovered near the money, and then something unexpected happened. Instead of grabbing a bundle, he began to close the safe door slowly, gently, as if tucking away a dangerous secret. He wiped the edge where his glove had left a smudge, straightened the lock, and turned back toward the sleeping billionaire. What he did next froze the man in the chair far more than any theft could have. The boy walked to the desk, found a scrap of paper, and carefully wrote a note with clumsy letters, explaining that the safe was open and that he had closed it so no one would get hurt or blamed. He placed the note where it could not be missed, then returned to his cart and continued cleaning, his face serious, his movements steady, as though protecting the room itself was part of his duty. Inside the chair, the billionaire's heart pounded. He had tested executives and partners with traps far more complex than this, and many had failed in smaller ways. Yet this child, standing in borrowed gloves and carrying worries too heavy for his age, had chosen integrity without applause or reward. The billionaire realized that true character did not announce itself with speeches or confidence, it revealed itself in quiet decisions made under pressure. When the boy finished, he paused at the door, glanced once more at the chair, and left without taking anything that was not his. Long after the door closed, the billionaire opened his eyes, staring at the safe, the note, and the empty room. In that stillness, something shifted inside him that no deal or profit had ever moved. He thought about the systems he had built, the walls he had raised, and the people he had doubted. The test he had designed to confirm his cynicism had instead exposed a truth he could not ignore: wealth meant nothing without values, and trust was not foolish when placed in the right hands. The following days changed the boy's life in ways he could not have imagined. Opportunities appeared quietly, without spectacle, guided by a man who had learned a lesson worth more than his fortune. The janitor's family found stability, the child found education, and the billionaire found a purpose that finally felt complete. None of it was announced publicly, because the greatest acts of goodness rarely are. If this story touched your heart even a little, please take a moment to engage with this video by liking it, sharing it, and subscribing. Your support tells us that stories of honesty and compassion still matter in a noisy world. Before the ending, we have one special request: Please comment below with the word integrity if you believe that doing the right thing when no one is watching can change lives. In the end, the billionaire often returned to that quiet afternoon, remembering how he pretended to sleep and instead woke up to a truth he had almost forgotten. A child with nothing but values had given him everything he was missing, proving that sometimes the smallest hands carry the strongest morals, and that kindness, once chosen, has the power to transform both the tested and the tester forever.